Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Lions Den Podcast, episode 73. We are here to talk about everything post matchup of the first leg of CCL, or a little redemption from last year. We talked about this. Now we're here to recap what happened in the CCL. A lot of emotions. Off camera last night in our group chat, we had a very different perspectives of what we concluded from this first leg. So we're here to talk about everything that happened in that leg. Also, to preview this weekend's matchup, as we all said earlier in another podcast, is that it's a run. It's a whole run of games for La Fiera. So we gotta see hasta cuándo van a aguantar. But anyways, thank you guys for joining us via YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. Let us know what your thoughts are of this first round of CCL. What are your thoughts, comments, concerns? Let us know. We're very interactive. We'll post on the screen and we'll have a conversation. So, gentlemen, Carlos, Jose, and Louis, how are we feeling, guys?
Calm, cool, and collected. Before anyone else has a chance to overreact, as I won't name any names, but as some people on this podcast are wont to do after the first leg of a two-leg set, to overreact to a less than stellar result. But this is a perfectly manageable 1-1 draw to take into a second leg, which isn't even a return leg, really. It's on neutral territory. No fans in attendance. We have every and all possibilities to get the job done. Yes, it was very, very frustrating in the moment. I understand that. Believe me, I mean, I was there live in person to feel the frustrated vibe, but looking at the bigger picture, this is a manageable result, and there's something to be said for going into the second leg with pressure rather than complacency of having gotten a win, a result at home that, you know, there's always that danger of thinking it's enough and not coming out hard to play in the second leg. So now they are obliged to do so, and I think there's something to be said for that. I'm confident that they will get the job done in leg 2.
So you're saying this is a good result for Leon?
Not a good result, but a perfectly manageable one.
It's manageable. That's true. And I agree with Louis. I think we're in a good position. I would much rather be with our foot on the gas pedal rather than just have the car on neutral, kind of like we did with LAFC. But speaking about last season's matchup against LAFC, I mean, this first leg reminded me a lot about that first leg against LAFC. We had a chance to put this one to bed so many times, and we didn't, and it came back to bite us in the you-know-where. And I hope it doesn't happen this time. I'm confident that it won't happen because, as Louis said, it's in a neutral arena, if you want to call it an arena, because it's only like 8,000 seats there.
It's a training. It's a training facility.
It's a training facility.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's going to be a neutral territory, and I'm confident that our guys will get the job done. It's not going to be easy because I think Toronto is a very experienced team. They have very experienced players. Like Michael Bradley, he's a very good player, and I think they know their strategy. They know what they have to do. They just kind of have to park the bus and play good defense, and then attack us when we leave open spots. But I'm confident that we're going to get this win next Wednesday, and bring on whoever's next.
Jose,
yeah, you have to understand. Toronto did not do anything to earn this result. Leon beat themselves in this match. Any way you look at it. Well, they didn't even beat themselves. They drew themselves in this match. I mean, Toronto didn't do anything to earn what for them is technically a positive result, because if the tie finishes this way, they would move on. I don't think it will, though. I have every reason to think it won't.
Jose, I think me and you are a little bit more emotional. We're kind of more on the same page in regards to our reaction last night. So I want to hear what your thoughts were.
Yeah. Okay. A second.
Well, Jose gets himself situated. Louis, I do agree. I think.
You hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Can you repeat what? I just heard you until like we're on the same page.
Yeah, so I know me and you last night were a little bit more emotional, more frustrated. I think Carlos said it kind of did remind me a little bit more of the first leg versus LAFC, just because of the amount of opportunities we had and we couldn't put them away. So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, they mentioned it already. It was pretty much like a replay of the first leg of ALC versus Leon, and 2020 CCL. But on like then, we pretty much like I think it was most of the game. It was just all Leon. Even the own goal was all out. It's like I don't know. Like I think we control the match. The thing is, it's so frustrating that they never really. I never really felt threatened by Toronto, and we ended up just throwing ourselves. Like that's and then then Mena just like. I feel like I don't know if it was like last season or the beginning of this season. I think it was last season, where I think it was versus Chivas, where he had like 3 chances and he couldn't put any of them away. That was like the replay of that game and this game, and it one tap in, one on one. I forget what the other one was, but anyhow, and then Campbell, he had 1-2 to put it away too, and I don't know. It just feels like how the football gods were on our side, and just frustrating that this match should have ended at least like 3-0, and it didn't. I mean the plays were there, we just couldn't put it away. It's just But I do feel that we are still in it. It's just I don't like how this is pretty much like a broken record. Like we just keep not it's ceiling when it's at least now it would be like international tournaments. It's still like a rock in our shoe that we just can't. Yes. Hopefully, on the second leg, we will score those goals that we didn't score on this one, and then we'll have some players that weren't available too. So probably maybe Ospi will be on that second one, and Chapo too, which I feel like it'll be much better with him. But even without him, I don't think we struggled as much as I thought we were going to. So that's a good sign. So but then again, I don't know the player too much from Toronto. The one that
Pozuelo.
Pozuelo.
What was it? What was our guest thing? I already forgot.
Brian, I think mentioned
Pozuelo.
Oh. Can you go ahead? I don't think I can hear you.
I think you're cutting
on,
Jose.
No. All right.
You can't hear us.
Yeah, you can hear us in and out. Well,
I'll
Jose
fix it.
figures out his technical difficulties.
All right.
Shout out to Chango Loco. He said we should have won Toronto lucky as F, and we have to smack them 5-0.
We could have.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. We didn't score any.
I disagree that this is a broken record, though. I don't see it in the same way. This is not the same team that played in the Conca Champions a year ago. It's not the same team that fizzled out of the Liguillas, the 2 previous Liguillas that we're in. This is a team that, since that time, has put on a masterclass in 3 straight 2-legged 180-minute sets and knows how to manage these sets now. Like I remember how you guys freaked out against Puebla, how you freaked out against Chivas in the Liguilla, and the first when those first legs didn't go as well as or worse, arguably, than this one, and especially in the case of Puebla. that it felt like a disaster. We came in literally losing in the second leg. Put on a masterful performance in the second leg, and moved on. O sea, sin pena ni gloria, sin fanfarria, just easily, like doing what they're supposed to do. This is a team that knows how to manage these 180-minute sets. It's halftime of a 180-minute game. Nothing more, nothing less. I understand it's not the result that we wanted, but you have to understand, like, going into a second leg, even if we'd won 2-0, 3-0 even, we'd still say they have to go out and score. They can't just sit on this. They have to go out and score or they're going to get in trouble. Well, that's the same situation we're in now. But if they go out and score, they're moving on. You know, either way.
I think what frustrated me more, Louis, is that, like Jose was saying, we were in control of the game. We had possession of the game. We were creating opportunities. Campbell missed a handful. Mena missed a handful. I mean, just to me, it's like we had the opportunity. We have way too many opportunities. Like, I did not, like Jose was saying, I wasn't threatened. Yeah, that's my biggest frustration. Not so much the numerical, like we have to be up by this, but if we had the chances to do so, why not? If it was a game where, like, you know what, I think it was either what the really tight, not many too many opportunities were created. Okay, I'm fine. But like this is just the frustrating part. I'm not saying I was frustrated because I was like, why can we not put them away? I mean, Campbell and Mena, for God.
Sure. But it was actually probably a mathematical anomaly that they had so many chances and couldn't put any of them away.
Yeah.
Like the law of averages. I mean, let's ask your boy Tom about that expected goal stat or whatever. But the law of averages suggests in another 90 minutes, a couple of those are probably going to find the back of the net, and I'm pretty confident that they will. I mean, if they dominate the game in the same way that they did in terms of the run of play, and the midfield elaboración, like really, I don't think. I mean, Chapo Montes, sure, it'll be nice to have him back. It's always nice when he plays, but I don't think his absence had any difference. The midfield was fine. The run of play was fine. The development of the plays was fine. It was just the finishing that wasn't there. You know?
Yeah, it's the finishing. The midfield, we didn't miss Chapo Montes, and that's kind of weird to say. Like, I never expected myself to say something like that because he is our MVP. He's our most valuable player, our most important player. But we were just fine, and I was actually surprised that we generated so many opportunities without him. And I think a lot of that is owed to Fernando Navarro and John Meneses, who was an absolute beast last game. So hopefully, I know they're going to have an answer for Meneses this time around in the second leg. So somebody else is going to have to step it up. Hopefully, Luis Montes can come in and deliver some magic for us.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be nice for him to come in and we'll have that extra element that they won't know how to. They won't have scouted for. Well, they won't have had a game to base their scouting on anyway. Yeah, in that sense, his return could be crucial. But yeah, I mean, the team's in a different place. The team's in a different place than they were a month ago. Let's say in terms of their midfield form, and Colombato plays a role in that. I mean, him coming into the fold and getting used to everything, and being such a good creator. There's a lot of factors, but I expect us to be fine in leg 2.
Do you guys know if Pozuelo's out for leg 2?
That's what I was gonna ask. So when is the second one, and is he going to be in it?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, yeah.
Have you heard anything, Louis, on your side? If he will be ready for that match?
I don't know. Well,
they probably won't say.
Yeah,
even if they know.
Until the day of, like, you get in the starting lineup.
They probably won't say until they have to.
So they're probably just saving it to, like, tactical kind of thing, I guess.
But, I mean, even if he plays, he's not going to be informed. They'll be his first competitive minutes of 2021. I doubt they would. They would throw him in as a starter either.
So even before this match, he was already injured.
I don't think so.
Competitive minutes. First competitive minutes of 2021. There's a difference between club preseason friendlies and actual competitive.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that, this was Toronto FC's first competitive match of 2021, and Pozuelo didn't play. So the Vuelta would be his first competitive minutes of 2021.
And just
so I wouldn't expect him to show his MVP form. He did win the MLS MVP this year, but I wouldn't expect him to be on that kind of form.
Yeah, and just not like even if he's not on form, I just don't know him too well to say how he will if let's say if he does show up even though he's not in form, how he will affect Toronto. I mean, because I know he's obviously like the counterpart of, for us, Chapo. That's what I like to believe for them. So I don't know. I don't know if
mentally and
also
psychologically it could have an effect.
Mm-hmm.
It's an unknown. It's an intangible. It's an X factor. We just don't really know. If I had to guess, I would think he probably wouldn't play, or he would only come on as maybe 20 minutes in the second half. I wouldn't expect. I mean, I sure game plan for the possibility that he might play, but I wouldn't. That's not the thing I would focus on the most if I were the Cuerpo Técnico León.
Yeah, lucky for us, Toronto is not playing on their home ground, so I think that's going to be, to be honest, like a disadvantage for them and in a way an advantage for us.
It is because we were there, Louis and Jose. We were there in LA last season, and that crowd was absolutely on fire. Every goal, every opportunity that LAFC had, and
it was definitely a factor.
They riled up.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was intense, to be honest.
It was definitely a factor that we honestly underestimated, and that's completely out the window this time. It's just not the same situation at all. Yeah,
Definitely.
And plus, there won't be any attendees.
Right. It's a bit of a consuelo for having not taken more advantage of our own home match with our own home fans.
Yes,
for sure.
Definitely. I know we already dug into kind of our just first reaction. Let's go ahead and get the pregame in. Carlos, are we ready for the pregame?
Yeah. I mean, we just talked about it, I guess.
I mean, well,
Kinda.
Let's go. Starting lineup. Let's cue the clip.
All right, so we just talked about Chapo Montes having a red card, and that's why he didn't show up to the game. I think everybody already gave their thoughts on that. Maybe Javier can maybe chime in with some of his thoughts. But starting lineup
same as you guys. Same thought. Yeah.
Okay, so starting lineup, we had Cota, Barrero, Mosquera filling in. Tecillo and Avion as the backline. In the middle, we had Colombato, Navarro. Awesome goal by Navarro. We'll get to that in a minute. Meneses, Campbell, Mena, and Davila. So, guys, take it away.
I mean, no surprises here. I sent you a screenshot of lineup 11 in the group chat, and that's exactly what it was. So no surprises
said Campbell
for me.
would start, so
yeah,
got that right.
Yeah, I thought
he didn't.
But then you guys actually said Davila would start. They both started, so that was kind of a laugh. LOL.
Let's talk about the goal, though.
It was
Yeah.
what a golazo.
I mean, that was a typical Navarro goal, though.
Yeah, he doesn't like to
it's what
score
he
regular
needed.
goals.
Yeah.
Right. Isn't that one of his like things? He can't just score a regular normal goal. It's got to be a golazo.
That's his trademark.
Because like
I like that. I like the one against Santos a little bit better.
yeah, I love that.
yes.
Yeah, this one was also amazing.
But this was
This
definitely
one,
The
volea?
difficulty level on this one is just
Yeah.
it was a genialidad. It was a genialidad. It would just not. It would be nice to not have to depend on genialidades to get our goals.
If only Campbell had his golazo in too.
Yeah,
he was already celebrating.
game of inches.
Yes, that was unfortunate. Like that, it just hit the post. Like, man,
and not just the post, but like the inside of the post. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? It's kind of like how I see it, and I don't know if you guys already touched on this. Like when León beat LAFC 2-0, I felt that was the reason why they felt overconfident. I feel the 1-1 draw, especially the fact that Mosquera made their own goal. They know they're their own worst enemy, so I think they're going to go out even more hungrier than even this first game, this first leg. I think it's, things happen for a reason. Even Campbell's going to probably, after all his misses, maybe he's going to, again, hopefully he has that, mentality to kind of surpass himself in what he did. I don't know. I'm just trying to find the silver lining in all of this, but I just think maybe it's a good thing. Everything happens for a reason.
Dude, that's definitely. I said it's good. It's a blessing. It will end up being a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I agree.
First. It will end up being a blessing in disguise that they have to go out and score. They are under pressure to go out and score, but they have a full 90 minutes to do it. I mean, you guys are talking about the first leg against LAFC last year. I'm thinking more about the first leg against Puebla. I mean, I already briefly mentioned it, but the first leg against Puebla in Liguilla. I mean, they're playing against obviously a far inferior team, but somehow they get down 2-0 early. Just inexplicably, they get down 2-0. They're down 1-0 after 1 minute and 2-0 in the first half, and they end up losing that game 2-1, coming home with a 2-1 deficit. But from the opening whistle in that game, it was fire. They went out and destroyed Puebla. Honestly, the Puebla had no chances in that return. Even though they had come in with an advantage. This is a team that's far more mature than that team that should have scored more against LAFC. This is going to end up being a positive thing in this return leg. They're gonna come out firing and put them away. That's what I expect of this team that hasn't matured in these two-legged knockout sets, more so than they ever had in earlier versions of these kind of ties.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting. It's going to be a lot better and a lot more open game, especially with the return of Chapo Montes. I expect the guys to come out firing, just like Louis said, like we did in against Puebla last season. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about Joel Campbell. I feel like he shows up in big matches, but during the season in Liga MX, he's kind of just chill. But then, the Liga, he shows up. He has an incredible game against Chivas, and then from then on, he's just on fire. In Liga this season, he's doing all right. I mean, he's not terrible, but he's not the Campbell that we saw in Liga. And then Champions League, he had an incredible match, although he could have put the cherry on top if he had scored that goal. But man, what is it with Campbell showing up but not Mena?
Yeah, I think that's been a trend for me. I feel like cuando anota, ahora anota, pero no más de penal. Very few times he actually scores from a play now. That's not.
Even his PKs. I mean, they used to be unsavable. He would always just perfectly find the corner. Now the keeper is either getting a touch on him or a full save.
Well, what happened against Toluca. When you shoot that many PKs, goalkeepers are going to study them.
Yeah.
Right, but he used to. I mean, one of the reasons he was our cobrador indiscutible is he would always find that corner where no matter how much they studied it, they just couldn't reach it. His last several PKs have not been that. Yeah. And I feel like it's in his head. I felt like it was in his head when he couldn't score against Chivas, and when he was kind of just battling through most of last season, if we're being honest. And I feel like, I don't know, he goes through these spurts where it's kind of in his head when he's not scoring, especially not scoring from the run of play, that it just kind of gets in his head. I think it's kind of in his head right now again.
I feel like he's this season and last season he's carrying on. He's not really that as confident as he used to be when scoring. I don't know if it's psychological, if it's lack of form, or if it's just he's already at his prime, so it's normal for him to it's 33, so I don't know if that's what it is. I'm just bringing stuff up that could be, but I don't know. hopefully it's just something psychological and it'll get better. But I feel like he's been on this form not just this season, but since last season. Even though he's scoring, I don't feel he's at the same. Obviously, he's never gonna be at the same level that he was back at when he scored 13 or 15 goals in the season. That's a one time only, but I would like to at least recuperarlo so that he scores more goals from plays rather than from the spot. But we'll see.
He did have a quiet first half, and then we saw the open opportunities the second half. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, Mena and Campbell had terrible nights. I mean, could that also, I'm not saying it's excuse, but it's one of those days where they just can't get anything in. I mean, is it me thinking that, or is it technically that they should have made them because they should have made them? I don't know.
It just wasn't our night. It was one of those games where right before we had the 12-game winning streak, the game we lost against Xolos, where we lost one, it was a 1-0 game. And we had like 50 shots on goal, like 20 of them went off the bar, and we just couldn't get it in. It's one of those games. It's just one of those nights where it wasn't our night.
Yeah, you don't typically think of the Liga MX as a make or miss league in the same way that you do the NBA. But I mean, it kind of is. It certainly was last night. I mean, they have to find a way to make their superiority show in the scoreboard, not just in the stats and the just the way the game looks, the way it plays out. No, it has to show in the scoreboard as well. But I think in the second leg it will. I mean, just because, as I'm saying, the law of averages, like, it should be a mathematic impossibility for them to miss that many.
It was just crazy though. Crazy. Oh, shout out to Romo Vasquez. Hello, he said hi, guys.
Oh,
Hi,
how are you?
Hey.
Thank you for joining us.
Also, shout out to Gabo Juarez. He's an Americanista. He used to be an ex-student of mine in León. And
then no shout outs to him. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I agree. He knows what he's doing. He's gonna write some. He did it last time. You guys didn't see it, but he's gonna write some things to instigate me. But still, shout out because he's still supporting the pod.
Nice.
But he's an Americanista.
No,
Good
he's
vibes,
not welcome. No, I'm just kidding.
Good kid though. He's a good kid.
So shout out to Univision, Romo Vasquez, always on the field reporting for León. Always great to hear him, and thank you for stopping by.
Shout
out to you. What are we talking about? The luckless first half. I mean, that's why the title is that, right? Like, we just did not have luck in the first half. What do we think of the return of Yaidel second half?
Oh, I feel extremely vindicated, personally.
I saw him.
I mean, he came on. He came on, and what did he play? Did he play 20 minutes, 25 minutes? I don't know exactly how many minutes he played.
Yeah, let me see.
About 20 minutes. But he looked good. He looked good.
He came in not having been on form, and instantly did things that Osvaldo could not do in his wildest dreams ever on the best day of his life. And I was watching him, and I was like,
he can never get a break.
I hope the guys from the podcast who inexplicably defend Osvi's starting job are watching what this guy is doing. Like, the guy was just making fools look like fools out there. I mean, nobody was getting on the end of his crosses, but like, that's not his fault.
Yaidel played 26 minutes. No, I mean, I think you're misinterpreting, Louis. I think lo que hemos dicho es que ha cumplido. You know what I mean? We're not like saying, the best ever. We want him. No, I'm saying I think he has met his mark, and it's appreciative rather than having no one that could really at least complete ese rol. It's kind of like Gil Buron, we all kind of underestimated him. It's cumplidor, we're not saying he's terrible or like the best, but
But
I do say it was really nice to see Yaidel in his best form, and we just want him to continue playing, and we already talked about last podcast about how, about him leaving.
Yeah, but there was there was definitely sentiment in there that no matter what, Osvi should be the starter, that he's earned it, that he's the better option right now. And for me, Yaido came in and completely blasted that idea.
It was like nonstop on that wing for sure.
Yeah.
So you think for the second leg, is it going to be Yaido or Osvi?
Well, look, he had 33 touches, 26 accurate passes, 96.2%. He just played 25 minutes. So are we starting?
I mean, I think we gotta. I mean, it all depends on this weekend against Atlas. I mean, we'll get to that in a minute, but I mean, it depends on who starts. And I mean, Osvi was. I saw him warming up. He looked okay. I mean, he didn't look hurt at all.
Well,
I think it was out of prevention that Ambry just didn't. He benched him. It's not because he's injured. He just doesn't want him to relax.
Yeah, I mean, if Osvi starts against Atlas, I don't know. Maybe Yaido starts against Toronto. I would be in favor of Yaido starting both matches, but I know it's probably not going to be that way.
I say Yaido starts the second leg of CCL, and just only
my
because
guess too.
Yeah, only because we need to go out there. We already said it. We need to go out there firing, and we need to go out there looking for a positive result. And I think we all agree that Yaido has more offensive qualities than Osvi. So if that's the case, then we're gonna definitely probably start Yaido.
Yeah,
also the rotation. I mean, the rotation is valid. These points against Atlas are important too. But I mean, Osvi rested. He didn't play. Like he'll be good to go against Atlas. Montes will be as well. I mean, there's options of rotation there. But I agree with you, Carlos. I think most likely is that Yaido, if he were to start, would be against Toronto and not against Atlas.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting who'll start against Atlas, how he manages, because it's 3 games in like about a week.
3 games.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely expecting some shuffling of the lineup.
Can't let our.
We'll see, man.
Yeah, because I'm saying we can't. I don't think we'll shuffle too much, honestly. I mean, I feel like Atlas. We'll talk about that in a bit, but I think it's going to be interesting, and I kind of do agree. I think Yaido will have more possibilities of starting the second leg, which we'll also go over next week. Guys, the return of Gigliotti.
That was the other thing.
What are thoughts?
Yeah.
No,
he didn't get enough. He didn't get enough time to do it. He didn't get enough time. He didn't get enough minutes.
Yeah,
for my money to do anything.
I didn't really
I'm not gonna
see
hate on
much.
Man.
Yeah, I don't really see
on that guy.
Yeah, I mean, like, he hasn't played much, and what he played, I didn't really see much for him to deserve a starting role right now. So I don't know. I don't think he's probably gonna give him more minutes, but probably off the bench minutes.
I don't know. I think he might start in the return leg against Toronto.
You think?
Gigliotti? Yeah. I don't know. I just have
against Atlas.
You think so?
I think he'll start against Atlas because he's been sitting out for so long. He's out of rhythm. We already know he's not the type of player to fit Nacho Ambrisi's system. And you add to that the fact that he's been sitting out for 3-4 matches now, and he's only had like 15 minutes of play in the last couple of weeks. I mean, that's a rusty player. I don't think that's who if you have an important match, I don't think that's who we want to be starting.
Yeah, and I feel like he's one of those players that, because there's players that, even though they don't play a lot, eventually they click. And there's players that need more matches to get the rhythm. And I think you got this, it's the latter. So, yeah, I agree with you, Carl. I think he's probably going to give him some minutes so he can get his rhythm, either as a sub for the second leg or for maybe in the future if we advance to the next stage, so he can use it and he's in a better form by then. But yeah, right now I don't see him being the starter at all.
I'm curious about what his minute situation is. If I wonder if they already calculated it and they determined that Even if he plays
Yeah.
every single minute of the rest of the season, then,
Exactly.
then he wouldn't.
That's where I
then he
was going to
wouldn't-
go with this too.
Yeah,
then
I
he wouldn't
wonder.
have played enough minutes to force them to buy his contracts.
Contract.
I'm curious
which-
about.
Which,
That's
by the way,
information
I was
we,
going to ask, is it
That's information we're not going to have, but I'm curious.
Yeah, we're not going to have it. Is it exclusive only for Liga MX or also Conca Champions? Like that being said, I mean, that's why he's not really playing, I feel, too. I feel like it has to do with that 75%.
I did the calculation on his minutes, and I posted a graphic on my page. He's played 48% regular season minutes. This is not counting Liga. 48% regular season minutes. Now I don't know what the cap is. Was it 70 or 80%?
75, right?
Is it 75? Okay.
I mean,
well,
I don't know why. That's what I have in my head.
So I did the calculation. If he plays every game, regular season match from here till the end, he still won't come close to 70 or 80%. It'll be
Is that
like
why
somewhere-
probably?
yeah, it'll be like mid 60s.
Is
But
that
does
why?
that include Conca Champions and Liguilla? Does that include Liguilla?
that
Is
doesn't
that
include
just Liguilla or Conca Champion?
No, that's only regular
Liga.
season. Liga MX.
Right.
So
Yeah,
would we
that-
rather just save him for Liguilla at this point?
No,
Or
but it
Conca
doesn't.
Champions.
It's not that useful if he's not on form.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he has to
I'd
play,
rather-
like, let's say, he
I'd rather
already got
see him-
sneaked up a couple minutes.
I'd rather see him get a couple of minutes against Atlas and then maybe a couple of minutes against Toronto on the second leg, like what we saw. But at the end of the day, it's up to Nacho to see if he's actually in sync with the team. Look,
Yeah.
I really do believe it has to do with the fact that I think Nacho just wants to put players, because even Godinez, like, I think he's playing maybe because he is in rhythm. We don't really want him to. I mean, I have my opinions
He
about
played
him.
trash
Yeah.
minutes, so
Yeah, he gets.
And I think they should have subbed him in way earlier than what he did at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If Mena couldn't get it in, if
Yeah.
Campbell couldn't get it in, put someone else.
You know,
that
Godinez
might
is
be
definitely not gonna get it in.
I agree, Kari, because I think Mena, man, even if you play with 10, there was that one play where he got in the way, and I was like, look, even if you take Mena out and we have 10, we probably would do better. I'm not hating on Mena. It was just a bad day for him. He was just super out of it. And at that point, I would rather
his
have
face reaction
Gigliotti.
is what killed
Yeah.
me, because he was just
Yeah.
like, "Are you serious? Like, I'm
Yeah.
having this kind of night." And
Yeah, he had the
Campbell as
Cruz
we-
jersey underneath or something. Like, I can't explain anything else. But I would have much rather have seen Godinez. I don't know, man. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, I'm gonna get mad. There's still many minutes left.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't just him though. You know, it just felt something was off.
well, I mean,
that-
even Davila didn't have a great night. He only
Yeah.
had 21
Yeah, he didn't.
touches. 21
Yeah.
touches in the
Yeah, no.
64 minutes
Yeah.
that he played.
yeah,
Omar
there's
Gonzalez
some players.
Kept him at bay. He marked him really well, so no, he never had a chance to desmarcarse. So
Yeah,
But
with
we'll
the
see.
team
We'll
that
see what
parks the
happens against
bus.
Atlas.
Yeah, with the team that parks the bus and only has 30% possession,
Yeah.
like our strikers are not going to do anything against that kind of defense.
Yeah. we always
Yeah,
struggle
well-
versus teams that park the bus, to be honest.
Well,
Yeah.
also, I mean, sorry, but I mean, Davila, Campbell, Meneses, those guys are not gonna. Mena, they're not gonna win very many aerial duels. So
That's
we have no forwards. We have no forwards or any sort of
Gigliotti and
aerial threat
Navarrito.
whatsoever. Maybe Navarro, but
Hey, Navarro's not the resorte. He
Yeah,
can jump.
he does.
He gets
He
up
does.
there.
He can jump.
He does.
okay. But our
He
actual
just-
forwards,
But yeah,
the
actual
ones who are
forwards.
being deployed as forwards, the ones who
Yeah,
are going
actually-
up against the opposing center backs on every play, they're not going to win any aerial. Davila and Campbell are not going to win any aerial duels. Like, and that's really, really frustrating. That's really, really frustrating. Like when your only aerial threat is Barreiro. That's.
But shout out to Barreiro though. I mean, I have grown to really like him and enjoy him.
He's
No,
mature.
no. I love that he's an aerial threat. That's a bonus for him, but that's not his.
Yeah.
I mean, scoring goals is not his role. I loved his
Yeah.
role against Toluca, but that's not his role. And it's frustrating when
And
the,
it
when
should
the
be our
forwards
only
can't get into
option,
the aerial
you know?
duels.
It should be
Yeah.
our only option as an area. Yeah, that's why I said like seeing Gigliotti, and I was thinking in the back of my head, oh, maybe the Conca champion doesn't, the whole 75%, the whole contract thing. That could be another thing Ambris could look into. But definitely, like, we will see against Atlas if he gets any kind of minutes, because maybe that's what I do feel. We all feel he's just kind of out of sync. He doesn't,
Yeah.
But against Toronto, that would be a great option. It's just, we would have to just wait against the Atlas game to see exactly who's going to get minutes, who's he going to save, and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. And like we already mentioned, the huge error by Teseo and Mosquera. We really hope that they get ahead in the game in the second leg. That should just not have happened.
That's a typical Mosquera error, right? I hate to say it,
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, look, that's why I'm not really worried. It was like Leon 1, Mosquera 1. Like, to be honest, like we'll have to see the second. I mean, Toronto didn't really do. I mean, the first couple of minutes, we all knew they were going to try to attack like that. But I think what we saw was one team has way more rhythm. Of course, Toronto's barely had one preseason game or something like that. But still, I think that's going to be a big influence. Still, but at the end of the day, it's Leon. They're their worst enemy at this point. Like only thing that could beat Leon is themselves, as we saw against El Autogol.
Yeah, Toronto has yet to prove they can even score against us, let alone beat us. Let alone in one match, let alone two.
Exactly.
So
their best option is otro autogol from us.
I said it like I didn't feel threatened at all in the match.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I expect Luis Montes to have a monster game next Wednesday because
it was a good thing que descansó. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Coming in as a captain, like I expect him to take this team, put this team on his shoulders, and not let them lose.
So, is he gonna start versus Atlas in Toronto or just one?
I think he'll start against both.
Yeah, he'll probably get some minutes against Atlas. Maybe come off 67.
Although he hardly ever comes off. If he plays the full 90.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Which always worries me. He's like, come on, Chapo. Like Carlos says, save them.
I don't think he wants to.
No, let him be. Let him be. I mean, let him be.
Hey, I know he ages like wine, but still, at the end of the day, at his age, that could be something. That could be a factor. Sobrecarga muscular is something.
Yeah, that's
he's probably the only
player last season, right?
For him, though.
But he's been injured from that too.
Yeah, right, but he's probably the only player on the roster. He's probably the only player on the roster who has that kind of authority with Ambriz. He's like, like Ambriz won't take him off unless he asks to come off.
Yes,
I don't think any other probably any other player,
kind of player,
any other regular starter doesn't have that privilege. But I think Montes probably does.
Yeah, he's that kind of player, 1,000% for sure.
Definitely. Well, we'll have more of a preview versus Toronto in the second leg next week. We'll have a special guest also tuning in to help us recap for that second leg. Guys, let's go ahead and move on to, as we already kind of dipped in, the preview versus Atlas this weekend. Atlas, a team that started very, maybe not non-responsive in a way. They kind of have escalated all the way up to the 5th position at this point in time, which is very crazy. But they have been improving. They have been playing well. A team that under Coca has looked way better, especially compared to last season, how they ended at 16th place to now. Very exciting matchup versus Leon. What are your thoughts? Are we hoping to get? And don't tell me any predictions. Are we coming to scrape by, or are we actually hoping to maybe a high-scoring game?
No,
maybe a
high-scoring game.
Low scoring.
Not scoring?
Yeah, low scoring.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. So they're gonna need the revanche against Toronto, but I kind of want to see some of that fire that they're probably feeling from that match come out against Atlas too. I really want these points. No matter what happens in Conca Champions, if the worst case scenario happens in Conca Champions, I mean, we don't want to think this way, but we could, a terrible thing might happen next Wednesday. And if it does, we still want to be in the fight for what's left. So I want these points, and I always want the points, but I don't want them to kind of discard this match or these points just because they have the Vuelta of Conca Champions coming up next Wednesday. No, man, I want this win, especially because I'm going to be there. I don't want to drive all the way to Guadalajara and probably drive back the same night just to see a loss, or like a 0-0 draw or something like that.
Worst case scenario, draw, please. We can't afford another loss. Yeah, you're right, Louis. You're right. I mean, that's something that we all want to see, because one of the things that I hated watching ESPN or any of the late night, sports shows is the fact that they're saying, "No, León el campeón dejó mucho que deber," and I don't like hearing any of that. That's what really made me mad. So hopefully, they can do something like that against Atlas, and then get that momentum, that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Confidence in a way.
Yeah, maybe some of these guys go in and score and get their confidence back for Toronto,
Definitely
after all
Campbell.
that failure.
Definitely put Campbell. You're playing 90 minutes, bro. You got to make at least one. Because otherwise, man, I don't know. But some of those players just need to really just be more on there, playing. I feel that it has to do something more like Jose was talking about, the confidence of Mena, or if he's like lacking it, or if it's a psychological thing. The only thing that could ever revert that or eliminate that from your head is scoring. It's having a good game. So for sure, before that Toronto game, put all those players that are that were missing horribly, and see if they can score one. I think they're gonna want to score because they're probably. Campbell didn't go to sleep that night for sure. He didn't go to sleep last night. Like, there's no way.
That goal could have been a banger. Like,
yeah, so, he was already celebrating it too.
Yeah,
like even así la intentó. That's how he's a genius. Like, he has that. Esas momentos de genialidad. It's just something's wrong.
It's just most of those don't go towards the goal; they go out. But yes. That's the problem. But yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll get the confidence back with Atlas, so we can be ready for the second leg versus Toronto. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe this game it's going to be a low scoring, and it's just I don't know. It's I feel like it's going to be at least 3 goals, Not for us, but like it's like 1 goal from them and 2-1 for us. But I don't know. But we'll see what happens this weekend. Hopefully, they can still keep racking up the points because we need them. We can't afford to be losing points. The higher we are, the better.
Yeah, I mean, this 3 points here gets us to 20, which was the mark that Puebla made the 12th spot with last season. So I mean, that's not to say that'll be enough this time around. It's always a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, that would be a good mark to get to. Also, depending on other results, that could put us within 1 win of the top 4 positions. Like these are really, really important points that we can't just forget about because more important things arguably are going on right at the moment. I mean, you got to think towards the end of the table, at the end of the tournament, and the bicampeonato, and all this stuff. We're going to want to have a chance for, and you gotta go for these points. Got to get these points.
Yeah, I think Atlas is one of those teams that we don't want to underestimate them because it's not for nothing that they're in 5th place. I think
yes. However, had they not gotten those points over La Mesa, they would only be 1 point ahead of us in the table. Right now, they would have 18, and we would have 17.
Well, Louis.
So have we. So have we.
So yeah, it's just I guess our luck has not been the best in the beginning of this season. Go on, Carlos. What were you gonna say?
So I don't know. I just hope that we don't underestimate them, and it'll be interesting to see how we respond coming from this draw from CCL because in Liga MX play we were trending upward and we were looking really, really good. So I want to see how we respond in this Saturday night match.
I don't think we'll underestimate them. I don't think we'll underestimate them. All this talk about Atlas, how important these points are for them to avoid the bottom of La Porcentual.
Which is why I want us to win. I want us to win just because I know Grupo Orlegui has this power over La Liga, and you're not going to convince me otherwise about the San Luis game. They purposely wanted them to lose points. So yeah, I want to be Atlas. I want Leon to be Atlas. I really do.
Them losing this game could prove devastating. They could prove devastating in terms of the relegation table. Obviously, there's no relegation, but they want to avoid the massive fine and also the inability to participate in Liguilla. If they finish last in the relegation table, no matter where they are in the standings, they would be ineligible for postseason play. So this is an important game for them, and I think Leon knows that.
Yeah. Definitely. I know we've also tapped in a little bit into what kind of possible movements Ambris may be making. I think we can all agree Chapamontes will play. I think my biggest question is the whole Osby Yairo thing still, and maybe in the last attacking third, does Mena and Meneses continue to start?
We'll see.
I mean, who else do we have?
Well,
Yes.
you said Carlos. You said
We don't.
Carlos Gigliotti could start against
Yeah.
Atlas and maybe
Yeah.
rest either Campbell or Davila.
Yeah, but the
That could
wingers,
happen.
like who else do you
The
start?
wingers, yeah.
Godinez?
Unless
We already
you
using Davila and Campbell too, so
Or you can
that's
use
who else?
could use
Ramirez.
Yairo.
You can use Yairo as a winger too.
Yeah, you could push Yairo forward. You could push Avion
Start
forward.
Yairo as
You
well.
can use
Yeah.
Avion.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more Avion.
We can use Kill Killer as a good
Kind
right
of been
back.
erased at this
He could
point,
be-
right?
Guys, he's a cumplidor,
Yeah.
Sí, cuando
Yo
entra,
no.
él cumple. To me,
right?
you know,
I mean-
I've yet to be
Which
really mad
which
at
is
him.
what we're mostly looking for out of the right back position these days. Now that Navarro has moved up more to a box to box role.
Yeah.
Very
So why not?
much.
Let's give Gil Killer his chance, and maybe even Nicola up front.
It's definitely for Leon. This is like a liguilla already. You should already be making these. I'm pretty sure already be thinking about these lineup decisions. Like rest this person, start this guy, give him minutes. We play Toronto. We play Atlas. It's kind of how when you play a liguilla in two legs. In a way, Leon can't afford to be eliminated from La Conca Champions. Yet we can't also afford to lose points against Atlas, Mazatlan, Bravos, all these teams that are coming up. So he's definitely has to do his homework on the lineups and kind of what we're all kind of like in our minds like guessing what's going to happen. They're all great solutions to the problems that we have. Killer, why not? Gigliotti, why not? Like at the end of the day, like I think he should know what's best for the team in terms of who's out of sync, who needs more minutes, who should be rest a little bit, who should I? But the whole experimenting thing, I think we already seen. I mean, unless Navarro lo pone de delantero, which I don't think it's so far fetched. But like still, like I think all the players that he's been experimenting with and putting them in different positions, I think we've seen all kinds of combinations already.
Heck, we could put Navarro in goal. Yeah, just like
Portero,
Yes, playing in training in goal.
as he was doing in training. Yes.
Jorge Campos 2, man. That's he should go for that. He should just be a Jorge Campos.
Oh, shout out to Navarrito. Awesome.
Shout out to
It's just
Navarro.
amazing seeing him, especially scoring these exquisite
Bangers.
goals. Yes. Guys, let's go ahead and go into prediction time, courtesy of our Firo Viajero.
Prediction time, prediction time, prediction time, prediction time, prediction time, prediction time.
Prediction time for this weekend's match, Leon versus Atlas. I'm going to go first, and Jose kind of gave my scoreboard away. I do think it's going to be a very close game. I am going to go with a 2-1 win for Leon. As my prediction, Carlos.
I also think it's going to be a close game, but I think we'll get away with the win. I've noticed Atlas they've gotten a few wins by a single goal margin, and so I think for us it'll be different because we are trending upward. I think our good form in league play is going to continue, but I think we'll get out of there with a 2-0 win.
2-0. Louis.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Cuddy. I'm going to go with Leon's what will be their third straight 2-1 win in league play. I wanted to say 2-0 like Carlos, but the only reason I say 2-1 is because supposedly Julio Furch is going to be back in the fold for Atlas after a long absence, and he always scores against Leon. So he's going to get one, and it'll be 2-1.
Alec Boselli always would score against America.
Right, yeah.
Interesting fact. Let's go with Javiercito. Your prediction, sir.
I think I think it's going to be a 3-1, 3-1. Why? Because I just like seeing Leon score 3 goals. I haven't seen it in a long, long time. So I just want. That's just. I'm not. This is not Vegas, Javier. This is just what Javier wants to see. If I had to bet, obviously it would be a way less scoring result. But I think 3-1 also for the same reason that I think that not maybe what Louis said about Furch, but just because Leon has that luck that they're always going to score against them. But that being said, like I want to see a 3-1 score.
Let's go.
3-1. Javi. Jose, top it off. What is your prediction?
Alrighty, give it away already. And by the way, it will actually be your 4 if we're doing, which I think we will. So it's gonna be 2-1, and I believe that one goal is because I still believe our weakest link it's still the defense. We still have those desatenciones. So they're probably gonna let one sneak in, and we'll get the 3 points.
Nice.
Okay. Everybody predicts a victory as well as our very special watch. Chango Loco says 2-1 win as well. Shout out to Chango Loco, always tuning in, watching our Leon, which I can now say probably his Leon. He's very invested. Let me know, Chango Loco. Guys, we're all predicting a win versus Atlas, hoping to be a very interesting matchup. As always, Louis will be driving to Guadalajara to watch this game. Safe trip, Louis. Let us know what your thoughts are when you get there.
Will. I'll make my classic video outside the stadium as well. Don't worry.
And we're gonna have a rested Chapo Montes, a very, very well rested Chapo Montes. He hasn't had that kind of a rest in a long time. So
Exactly.
if he starts and he's well rested, you can expect some.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode 73, Luckless first leg of CCL. Don't forget to watch this weekend's matchup against Atlas. We'll be back the following Monday to recap that matchup against Atlas. Also to preview the second leg with a very special guest on next Monday. Chango Loco said, yes, I'm invested. I want to break the window when they tie.
Ditto.
I told like the chat. I literally threw my phone away when they tied. So no, luckily it didn't get broken. But yeah,
Maybe you need an old phone that you can actually throw, not your actual phone.
Right?
One of those Nokia bricks.
But yeah, so if you guys watched us via Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube, thank you guys so much for watching. If you missed it, you want to watch it again, don't forget to follow us on Spotify, catch the episode there, or on Apple Podcast, or if you want to watch our faces, also we were watching on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, let us know your thoughts. Chango Loco says, take care. We'll catch you guys on the next episode of the Lines End Podcast. It will be episode 74. We hope to be Victory Monday. Have a good night, guys.